Greetings and welcome to episode 23 of the Weekly Review, the weekly podcast for words about games where we sit down and talk about the games that we have been playing. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, and I'm joined this week by Mr. Daffin Moody.
Amy, you know what that time it is. It's Monday, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that means. It's time to fudge that fudge.
Can I tell you something?
You can tell me anything you want, Amy.
I don't really like fudge that much.
You don't like fudge that much?
No.
Well, people who like fudge that fudge. How are you, Amy? I hope you are well. I hope you had a good weekend.
Fine. My weekends are usually in the middle of the week, so this is like, for me, this is like midweek.
Yeah, so this is like a Wednesday or Thursday for you.
Yeah, basically, this is like my Thursday, and then Thursdays is like my Sundays. It's just
We all have a good laugh, ladies and
that's
gentlemen.
just the way it is, and I've
Yeah.
only just sat down to work that out and thought that's pretty funny.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, but
One
no.
thing I have done, ladies and gentlemen, I watched Drive to Survive season 3.
And this isn't an F1 podcast.
And it's great. Go and check it out on Netflix. You can give us promotional material later, Netflix. Thank you.
Don't joke about that.
We don't want your promotional material on Netflix.
People out there will believe that we are sponsored by Netflix, and that this is all collusion. We're not sponsored by Netflix. Stop nodding.
I'm like, this could be good until the giant lawsuit comes down on our asses. And I say it was the
I'm the one that gets the comments, right? You stop it.
Yo, this person over here said I could subscribe. I used your promo code. What promo code? Never said anything.
FTF? The hashtag that you're literally wearing on your t-shirt?
It means something different. Trust me.
Oh, man. How are you?
I'm not bad. I've had a good weekend. Chill. Worked on some college. We worked on college all last week and worked on a little over the weekend. Had some fun doing Among Us Saturdays, as always. Slaughtered Ryan at least a good 20 times, ladies and gentlemen. It was pretty sexy, I won't lie.
Oh, why does Ryan always hit me?
I just charged for him. And he was just like, and there's Moody. And the best thing was, he was drinking every time he died, ladies and gentlemen. He took a shot. So I was intentionally trying to get him drunk. So it was fun. But no, yeah. I had a lot of fun, yeah. It's great times.
Yeah. You know, you're the only person who streamed on the Twitch channel for like nearly 2 weeks.
Have I?
Yeah, I loaded it up, and it was just your face all the way along the bar. Actually, it was more like it was more mostly Dead Space because of that one time the stream cut out when Twitch was being weird. So you got like 3 streams on, and it was mostly just you going. I still haven't looked through that stream yet for clips.
That's that face. That's the one for the clickbaity.
Oh, fuck that. Never. And never will I ever make a thumbnail like that. They're getting bigger as well. Like, I've noticed, like, people who do those, like, first they were, like, in the corner. In the corner, like, as a little face going, oh! And then it just got a bit bigger.
Yeah.
And now the thing that they're reacting to is, like, in the corner of the thing. And they're, like, the entire rest of the thumbnail going, like... And everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. I'm just like, block. Don't recommend video. Don't recommend channel. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I know. I tried doing reactions to stuff once, but, like... How do I put this delicately? Like, I was, you know what? You've watched things with me before,
Yeah.
and like, I just don't overreact to things. Like, I just don't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. I used to do it for films, like for trailers and everything like that. And even though they were all my honest reactions at the end, when I was editing and all like that, I was just like, I know this is my honest reaction, but my goodness, it all seems fake as hell. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I just deleted all of them and everything. I was just like, yeah,
That's fair.
they just feel fake by the end of it. And I'm just like, if you have success at doing reactions, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, but they are not for me.
But if you want laid back reactions, hit me up, and maybe I'll give it
Yeah,
another go.
yeah,
Like, I have freaked out like twice ever on a live reactions thing when we used to do
yeah.
E3s when E3 was a thing. And once was the Beyond Good and Evil 2 thing, but I wasn't. I was angry because they'd lied. So I was shouting at them through the TV screen. And the second time was the when they revealed the Xbox One X name.
Oh, yeah.
And
They were like,
again,
I
it was
said
because I said that
that!
6 months ago, and everybody was like, "That's stupid. They're not going to call it that. That's a stupid name."
Yeah,
And when we used to do intros for the podcast, like the podcast used to have like an intro with music and clips and stuff. That was one of the clips, and that's why I remember it because I saw it like 5,000 times. It's like I'm
yeah.
just on the couch and I just like the name comes up and I stand up and the headphones pull, so I just throw the headphones on the ground and I'm just like, "You fuck you and fuck you."
Screw you guys! I'm done for the night. Yeah. The one for me is the one I think I've been the most over the top with was probably the Lion King trailers for the live action, like the teaser trailer and the full trailer. I was like full on emotional for that. Thankfully, no one recorded me because I was full on. I was like, "Oh my god, this looks amazing!" type of thing. And I'll say this. I love the live action version. Animated feature is still the better one, but either way. But the other one was for me was my first E3 that I ever watched. And that was the 2013 PlayStation reveal event. That obviously revealed, and the ones I shouted out, going, "Oh my god!" for like holy shit type of moments was the reveal of Final Fantasy Versus 13 changed to Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3 reveal or re-reveal type of thing. Funnily enough, never played Final Fantasy 15, and I got so hyped for it when I saw it. I was like, "Oh my god, fuck yeah!" and all like that. And I played Kingdom Hearts 3, and I didn't enjoy it. And I was like, "Wow, this gameplay feels very old."
Me and
And everything.
me and you we watched the PlayStation 5 showcase last year,
Yeah,
like over Discord together, and I think the best I managed out of that, I think the best they got out of me out of that was me going, "Oh shit."
yeah,
And
but
like
sure, boys.
that's
Yeah,
that's my version of like, "Oh my god." Like, "Oh
yeah,
shit."
yeah.
Like I'm
That's why I think.
pretty sure when they
Yeah,
revealed Spider-Man for the first time at E3 it was literally just an, "Oh shit."
yeah. Like we don't know what we're doing, obviously, for the summer, especially like for E3 or anything like or whatever the hell E3 is. But we're not going to be reacting to them. I highly doubt, will we? We'll probably
Oh,
do pre-shows, talks about, and say this was what we really liked, this is what we saw, and everything like
who
that. But other than
knows?
that,
I don't feel like it. I've done it before and
yeah,
it's just
too much.
I don't get it.
You don't
What,
care?
what like what I'm doing the whole time. I don't get people watching people live watching a conference because it's like, right, I can't hear the conference. Like the person I'm watching keeps, and this is nothing against the content creator. He's like whichever content creator, but it's like if I'm watching that, it's like I can't hear anything because they got it turned down so I can hear them. They're constantly talking over all of the stuff, so I
Hmm.
can't hear what's going on, and it just annoys me. And
Yeah,
maybe I'm just an old woman at this point. But it's like if I'm gonna
possibly.
watch
Yeah,
a fucking conference, I'm gonna watch the conference.
yeah. Oh, I agree. But so, like
But
we'll have to talk about this offline and everything like that. So, but no, yeah. I'm looking forward to whatever's happening and everything like that. But ladies and gentlemen, you're not here for this, ladies and gentlemen, are you? You are here for some impressions or
let's
some
be fair, no
opinions.
one's heard of this game that we're going to talk about, so no one's here for. No one knows why they're here.
That is true. So let's just keep on rambling. F1, ladies and gentlemen, it's
So
back
we've got
next week.
one game to talk about. I'm not letting you turn all these podcasts into F1 podcasts. 2021
God,
resolution. No, this is the most races there's ever been this year. I'm not letting you do it. One game to talk about this week. Everhood, which I keep wanting to call Everwood, which was a really boring TV show in the 2000s. It's
Ever.
Everhood. We'll talk about some
Anytime
other
she's going
stuff
to say
later.
Everwood later down during this
Shut up.
episode.
Shut up. Um, there's a pretty and I've seen this go around on Twitter, and it's in the front of the game. So what I'm gonna say is, there's a very serious epilepsy warning for the game, and I don't know if I've edited around the footage well enough to hide the epilepsy, anything that would trigger epilepsy. So if you're watching the video on YouTube, minimize it, go to a different tab, turn the monitor off, whatever. Because I'm about to put the B-roll footage up, and I don't want to cause anyone to have a seizure. And then when we finish talking about Everhood, bring the video back up. Or you can use the timestamps that are in the description and just get past it. But it's kind of the only game we're going to talk about this week in any great detail. So this is the podcast, basically.
Just be careful, be safe. See CD Project Red? That's how easy it is.
Burn. Okay, I'm putting the video footage up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now.
Thunderbirds are go.
Everhood is live on the screen for everybody watching on YouTube. So, I explained this to you last week, or the week before. Write down the description of the game, Amy, in your shitty Sherlock book with your glittery pens. I like the glittery pens. They were a Christmas gift off Phil. And they've come in handy. Shout out to Phil. But write down the description of the game, Amy, because you always forget, and it's better if you just write it down.
That's true.
How much do you know about Everhood?
Absolutely nothing, except that what I saw from Evil Uno's Twitch stream, literally about an hour ago, where it's a very old style game, very pixelated. It's a pixel 16-bit, I would say, 8-bit maybe, type of style of game. That's it.
Okay, so Everhood. So imagine if you were playing Undertale and Guitar Hero at the same time, and you'd done a ton of acid. And that's the experience of playing Everhood.
Don't know what to say with this.
All three of those are equally as important components. This is like an Undertale style RPG. I don't know if there's a genre name for Undertale, because Undertale is like a deconstruction. It's like a deconstruction of video games and a deconstruction of an RPG, as opposed to necessarily an RPG. No, that's not the acid part. The acid trip parts are the fucking gameplay. Yeah. I genuinely don't know how to talk about this game very much. So, you play it as a doll, like a wooden doll, and someone comes along, you're at the beginning of the game, you're in bits, and someone comes along and steals your arm, and then you reform, and you've only got one arm, and you go chase the person who stole your arm, and so you explore this world. It's a very strange world full of very strange characters. Very tongue-in-cheek humor, very meta. Like Undertale. And someone played. All I'm gonna say is someone played Undertale before they made Everhood, which is fine because I like Undertale. I love Undertale, and I like this. And then you get into battles with characters.
Are you sure? You were questioning it there.
I'm question everything about this game. So the battles are so music plays a very big part in it, and the battles are on what the Guitar Hero track looks like. When you're playing Guitar Hero, and it's the 5 things, and you've got to hit the button and strum the thing in time with the music. Well, this is kind of like that, in that the music dictates the attack patterns. So you can see it on the screen. And like there's like attacks coming at you, and you could dodge left and right to like avoid them, and you could jump as well. But there's some attacks that come down you can't jump over, so you got to dodge past them, and yeah, it's like an anti-rhythm game, where in a rhythm game you are learning. You essentially when you're playing Guitar Hero, right? Like eventually you're learning the song and like
Mhm.
playing and like you know when to hit the thing but in this the attacks are happening to like the beats of the beat, for example. Like there's a fight like partway through the game where it's like one of the characters is the guitarist, one of the characters is the bass. So when the bass is playing, the green notes are attacking, and so on and so forth. But you can't dodge to the beat of the song because that's when the attack's coming towards you. So it's very strange to actually play because the beat of the song could throw you off because you don't do anything on the beat. It's like, okay, you have to dodge the attacks to the time of when you're about to get hit. It's incredibly difficult to play. Like from a difficulty perspective. Like the game recommends you start on hard. I did that, and then I went nope, and then I dropped it down to normal, and then that was a struggle. So then I dropped it down to easy. That's still pretty difficult.
Wait. The game says start on hard.
That's the recommend. That's the. It says at the beginning
Recommends you to start on hard.
the intended gameplay that the
Well, they
developer
clearly don't know
intended was hard.
who they're dealing with when it comes to me. It's called baby ass baby mode, ladies and gentlemen.
I wish
Look
you'd
it
stop
up. It's
calling
in the
it that
dictionary.
because there's nothing wrong with it, and that's the derogatory. Whatever.
It's in the dictionary.
It's still fucking pretty challenging. Even on easy.
Yeah.
There's a story mode which I haven't dropped down to yet because I'm still sort of hanging in there.
Yeah.
It's really interesting as a game.
Okay.
Yeah, and I suppose I should probably address the acid trip
Go on.
comment.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
I don't know how. If I hadn't have had video footage of this game that I was editing today for the B-roll that you're seeing over there if you're watching it on YouTube, I don't know if I would have believed myself some of the things that I saw while I was playing this game. Like, it's pretty trippy as it stands for the first sort of half an hour, 20 minutes, half an hour, just as like in the normal, right? Like, there's a frog playing a guitar, and like the notes are coming at you, and you've got to dodge backwards and forwards, and it's all very colourful, very neon. Infused. It's very, very nice if you like sort of really heavily stylized pixel art.
Yeah.
And it's pretty trippy already. But then there's a moment about half an hour in, and I know some of the footage is in here because I put it in because otherwise I don't think anyone's going to believe me. Here it is. In fact, here it is now.
Okay.
Where audio listeners, you are doing yourself an injustice. Normally, I love it wherever you want to listen to this podcast. You do you. But you're doing yourself an injustice if you don't watch this. In fact, I'd say this to you, Moody. Once this goes live, just take the time out of your day to just watch what happens while I talk about this. Because
time stamp it. Acid moment.
stuff happens. And it's impossible to describe. Basically, if you'd have told me that someone had dropped an acid tab into the juice I was drinking while I was playing this game, I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense.
It's like you're trying to explain a season of South Park.
I'm watching it right now, and it's just like, and every time you think, wow, this is as weird as it's gonna get, it gets weirder. This is the weirdest game I've played in 2021 so far.
Oh, we're only 3 months in. Eh?
I don't think anyone's gonna top it. Genuinely.
Wow.
For weirdness.
Okay, so yeah, we've gone on with the weirdness and everything like that. What has worked for you on this game?
The weirdness. It's so weird. I love it. Like,
the weirdness is working.
When I got to this section of the game where everything, like the walls of reality, just break down, right? And the game starts just fucking with you for the sheer fun of it. And you fucking, all the shit's happening, the static, the mushrooms start fucking duplicating in front of you, the track starts moving around while you're still trying to do a boss battle thing. There's a fucking weird ass creepy face in the background that I can just see on the footage. Like, I love it. Give me all of that. Give me all of that shit. It's great. Like, you know me. I have to play, like, on average, like, fucking 15 generic AAA games a year. Where I sit down on this podcast and I go, it's just the same as the last one. But everybody keeps talking about, like, oh, it's Game of the Year because you could chop some bamboo up in this one. Great, wow. Such innovation. And then I look at something like this, and I think I've never experienced anything like this in a video game.
Yeah.
I'm watching the world spin around while I'm doing the combat that I described earlier, and now there's like two weird characters dancing, who I think are supposed to be Cuphead and Mugman. like jokey versions of Cuphead and Mugman. Exactly! This is what I'm talking about! This all happened!
Our content creators, so...
This all happened! And I've got proof! But that's what's working for me, like, big style. Like, I love how strange and out there, and it's getting worse. It's getting worse. I'm just going to stop looking at the footage. I can remember it vividly. Like, how strange and out there this game is exactly my kind of thing. As somebody who, like, really does, like, stay on the lookout and really appreciate, like, different games. Games that do stuff just in a different way. Like, you might call them artistic games. Like, I've heard it called that, so we'll go with that.
No, the artisticness is so up there today. Okay, what's not working for you?
So it's very...
I'd say the same thing.
It's very difficult. No, the weirdness works for me at all times. Okay. Like, that's the top level of the weirdness, right? Like, what you're seeing on the screen right now is like that's as weird as it's gotten so far. But like, then there's the weird sort of like quirky meta humor. Like you have to get into a maze, and I'm not doing the things that don't work for me yet. Sorry, I'll do that in a second. Like, you have to get into a maze in a castle, and you need a plank of wood to get across the gap. So you go off and you find these two guys, the Slimecore brothers. I can't remember their names. And like, you can say, hey, I need a plank of wood. And they're like, how long a plank of wood do you need? Do you need a long plank of wood, or do you need a very long plank of wood? And then you're like, I need a very long plank of wood. And they're like, oh, well, you need a special license for that, to handle a very long plank of wood. And then, you know, they're like, no, it's not that kind of joke. But then it's like, there's this like whole monologue thing, and then it's like, oh, but we could give you the license for the very long plank of wood. Like, we could give you a certificate. Hey, get the certificate. And then the certificate, they put the certificate on the wall.
I just want to say that I'm a man-child, ladies and gentlemen, so that little...
And then it's like, oh, you can't... It's like, you can't take the certificate with you, but, you know, here's your plan. Like, just very weird humor that I dig, that no one else seems to, ever. Like,
that's good.
But shout out to Rebecca Valentine, because she was tweeting about this earlier in the week. And that's what caused me to look the game up and then go, I'm going to play this. This weird fucking...
bonkers game.
Yeah.
So right now,
strange.
top critics, 84% on OpenCritic.
Yeah, it's one of the top rated games of the year.
79% critics recommend it.
Yeah, but OpenCritic's only useful for two things.
Yes. Open.
Fantasy Critic and OpenCritic head to head.
That's it.
I don't trust it for anything else. I literally don't use it for anything else.
So the genres it's slated under is music and an RPG.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, nothing... No summarizing paragraph in a review or genre labels are gonna tell you what this game is about.
So this
I
is
can barely tell you what this game is about, and I've got video running next to me.
so ladies and gentlemen, Amy has video showing right now. Well, this is the description I found for it. Welcome to the world of Everhood, where up is down and left is right, where time
Sometimes,
has stopped and the strange characters roam. Here
sometimes
you
that's
control,
literal.
here you control a wooden doll whose arm has been stolen by a blue goom. Features groovy to music-based battles. Embark on a 5 to 6 hour journey with many twists and turns. Expect the unexpected. Custom battle editor support. Enter a wild world with visceral visuals accompanied with magical music.
Yeah,
Bonkers.
like you get into a fight with an ATM near
So
the
haven't
beginning
we
of the
all?
game.
Let's be frank. Haven't
No,
we all
well,
got an
it's not. It's an automated terror machine,
Oh,
and it
okay.
wants you to die. There's a character in the game who I've met a couple of times. Actually, I played a mini game with him. Called Nosferatu, and
I've
ha-
heard
and
that
and
before.
and halfway through all of Nosferatu's dialogue, he stops to sneeze on you. And for me, that's weird and funny, and I like it. It's a funny pun, and they double down on the pun. All and it's great.
Awesome.
It's great, but yeah, no. What doesn't work for me is the insane level of difficulty. Like if you jump in, even if you see that recommendation at the beginning and think, I'm not doing this on hard, I'm going to do it on normal. Normal will still brutalize you. Unless you're exceptionally good at rhythm games. But even if you are exceptionally good at rhythm games, again, you're not doing things to the rhythm of the music. You're doing things to slightly behind the rhythm of the music.
Yeah.
Essentially, if you, I think the better you, I think even if you are good at rhythm games, that might be worse because you have more to want to learn. See, for me, I picked it up quite quickly because I'm terrible at rhythm games. Like, so it doesn't really matter whether I can do things to the beat of the song or not. I can't, so that's fine. Sometimes that works out in my favor. Um, but yeah, don't. If you're one of those people that like, oh, don't want to drop the difficulty, I'm a hardcore gamer. Just swallow it and fucking do it because
You might need to.
it's an interesting game that if you have the slightest inclination to think like this is interesting and I want to see what it's all about, because you know my video clips are edited in such a way where it's like this is a taste. I'm not gonna spoil shit for you.
Good. Yeah, you don't want to spoil people the game, so that's a good idea and everything like that. So
Like the the frog battle that I talked about, the frog battle that's on the screen right now. That's the first thing that you do.
that's good.
Yeah, that the frog guy is like, hey, you might need to. I need to see if you can not die. I'm gonna give you a pretty simple battle that I
Don't
still
die. Don't
was
die.
really
Don't
bad
die.
at because yeah. And yeah, like if that was a rambling mess of a discussion of a game, it's because it's a mess of a video game in you know a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
But it's very difficult to like talk about in any sort of like detail. But I'm gonna remember this game like for a long time.
Oh, that's great. I'm very intrigued. I am fascinatingly intrigued by this. So my break's coming up shortly for college, so I might install this and have
Oh
a
god,
crack on it.
like even if you only play it for like the first hour, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear what you think of this
Yeah.
because we
I think
talk
I
a lot
might get
about games, but like the games that we generally tend to talk about together are Bravely Default, Hitman, stuff like that. I'd love to know what you think of like that,
something like this. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That's fair. That's understandable. That is understandable. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think of Everhood. Let us know if Amy's thoughts on this have sent you that way to go and give the game a go. All games deserve a chance here, so give it a go. Even though this one is apparently as trippy as hell for Amy, but sometimes they can be the best experiences. And you
It's
always want some unique,
it's unique. It's different. You've not quite done anything like this. Like if you've played Undertale, it will remind you a lot of Undertale, for various reasons. Um, but that's fine because you know what? Not enough games remind me of Undertale. I'm just gonna say it.
Look up Undertale for Game Jam tomorrow. Good.
Undertale is in Game Pass.
It is, yes, it is.
The
Well,
video, the footage is off the screen now, so no epilepsy warning.
yes, good, good. Well, that is it for the new games that we are talking about this week. But I'm sure you want to talk about one more, Amy, which I believe is the Bravely of Defaults.
Oh, Bravely Default 2, how you betrayed me. Actually, it was IGN that betrayed me.
IGN betrayed it. Well,
Yeah.
they betray a lot of people. So
See, what I do is with long games, right? Actually, with long games, with all games, with most games, what I tend to do is I tend to look up walkthroughs for them.
Yes.
Not to actually like walk me through the game,
Mm-hmm.
although there's nothing wrong with that if that's something you do, but to get a general idea of how long a game is. Like, if I'm like partway through a game, for example, and that I've never played before, I might just look up the walkthrough just to see how far into the game I am and be like, oh, I could roughly judge how long I've got left.
Yeah.
And IGN told me there was only 4 chapters of this game. And and there's 6. Well, there's 5. The 6th one is secret. Shh, don't tell anyone.
Don't tell IGN because they haven't said it either.
Yeah. It's how you get it's how you get the good ending and the true ending of the game. But I got to the end of chapter 4. There's a whole other chapter, and I'm like, Moody, chapter 4 was brutal. It was so difficult. The boss fights in chapter 4 are like next level compared to what comes before. And I still really enjoy the game, but I was tired and I needed a break because I was like, that was hard. That was hard. Like that was very, very hard. Like, and what annoys me about it is like I noticed this in chapter 3, but in chapter 4, like, so I probably talked about this when we reviewed the game like properly. When it was the headline game, and we talked about it in depth. But like, in boss fight, a lot of bosses have counters to like a specific type of attack. Like in the early game, it's like maybe a boss will counter magic, so you work around that, right? You concentrate on physical attacks, for example. Later in the game, bosses just have counter triggers for fucking everything. Like, you used healing magic, I'm gonna counter. You attacked me physically, I'm gonna counter. You attacked me with magic, I'm gonna counter. And one of the things we both praised heavily about Bravely Default 2 was the Brave and Default system. Or it's like, you risk reward, you can build up your Brave points to unleash like a flurry of attacks on enemies and be really strategic about it. But the thing is, if you save up a bunch of Brave attacks and then you hit an enemy 4 times and they counter you 4 times, they just wipe your party out. So then it's like there will be a lot of boss fights in chapter 4 like were just standard JRPG turn-based files because you're trying to mitigate all of the times the boss is countering you, so you don't attack a lot. Like you don't queue up 4 attacks in a row. Like, and because they can even counter things like buffs and white magic and like healing magics, it's like, well, I can't even keep like my healer stocked up on Brave, so like she can heal a bunch of times because I'll get countered by that as well. And it's just like, this isn't as great as the earlier stuff where I was forced to lean on the Brave and Default system. Now I'm forced to do the opposite. And like we said, when we reviewed it, without the Brave and Default stuff, it's just a standard JRPG, like turn-based JRPG, and it's not all that interesting. It doesn't stand out all that much from any turn-based JRPG. So that was
Yeah.
kind of my experience for a lot of it with the boss battles in the fourth chapter. So it annoyed me a bit.
Yeah,
And
that's disappointing. I'm sorry to hear that for you. Like I haven't touched this ever since we last spoke because I haven't had a chance to and everything. But I am looking forward to getting back to it just because of what we talked about the combat system. Like we saw to one of our friends on it of the combat system. The combat system's absolutely fantastic. The strategy and everything is really good. But if you get to chapter 4 and it's forcing you to go back to basically the basic JRP ness of what we were saying, thankfully it doesn't do this, and it's forcing you to do it because they've over. It sounds like they've over coded their villain characters to constantly counter you back if
sort
you
of,
go for
yeah.
killing it,
It's
and that is
how the counter system works, right?
yeah,
It's interesting if a boss can counter you doing a specific thing, because then you have to adapt your strategies, right?
yeah,
It's interesting later on when a boss can maybe counter two things, because that might force you into the job system to go, well, actually, maybe I need to rethink the entire setup of my party for this boss battle.
yeah, good,
It's less interesting when no matter what you do, like 50% of everything you do is getting countered, because then it's like, well, there's no point in going into the job system and tinkering with my party. There's no point in tinkering with my strategy. I've just got to mitigate the damage. It becomes attrition. It's like, I know I'm going to do this thing, and a counterattack could come through that hits for a couple thousand damage. So I've got to then mitigate that as opposed to find a way around it. Like, I just got to deal with it. Um, and it's annoying.
yeah,
It is. It's annoying. Like, it's still a good game. I still enjoy it. The story picked up, like I said last week.
yeah. You did say that, yeah,
And it's still up. It's still picked up. But I'm at the stage where I don't know whether I'm not gonna play it for a bit, because I picked up Control to do the video. I had the respective video that is next on my list, and then we've got a busy few weeks ahead of us. So I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up for a while, and I don't know if I'm just gonna go back to it, if I'm just gonna watch it, like find a walkthrough of it and just watch chapter 5,
yeah. I know
because
what you mean.
like I don't know if I don't know. We'll see. I might go back to it. I might just watch it, because it's chapter 4 was chapter 4 really was a bit of a grind, and not in the good way. Like where we were talking about, like, oh, I'm gonna level up this job so I can do this. Oh, I've just thought of this really great idea. Blah blah blah. It was just like, oh man, I'm getting a fucking ass handed to me here. I need to be a higher level.
Grinded like crazy though.
Yeah,
You told me. So if you grind so crazy that they're still saying no, 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 no.
you've got
Your grind needs to be more.
you can be over leveled for the enemies, standard enemies, but in chapter 4, there's not really all that much dungeon content
yeah,
because of the way it's set up. And I'm not going to spoil anything because it's story spoilers in within like explaining that sentence. But like, essentially, you have a number of bosses to fight, and those boss fights are sort of the main thing in the chapter, and like they can just annihilate you. Like you can look up, hey, recommend that you be this level, but they do so much damage. Like or like they stop so much damage. Or like, you know what I mean? Like there's a boss who can hit you with 3 attacks in one go, because that's the job
yeah,
that they have, and that's 1 BP. So if they spend like 4 BP and they can just obliterate everything right in front of you,
yeah. Which you don't want. So
which you definitely don't want.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, like I got through it. With because I mastered the characters and what they do, but yeah, it did it did take some of the shine off the game for me.
that's
But hey,
So you know
go.
what I'm doing, Lizzie? I'm grinding like fuck all the way up to level 3 and the chapter 3, and I'm going to keep on grinding till the end of the earths.
Hit me up. There's a couple of good grind to play. Good grinding tips I can give you.
Sweet.
That'll cut down on your grind time.
Awesome. Well, that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for the games we are talking about this week. Let us know if you've tried Everwood or Bravely Default 2.
You did it. I didn't do it, but you just did it. Everwood.
Did I just say
Ever.
Everwood?
You just said Everwood.
Everhood. Everhood.
Everhood.
Well, one of us was going to say it.
It wasn't me though.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Everhood, ladies and gentlemen. Not Everwood, Everhood. Or Bravely Default 2. Let us know what you think of those games. Well, Amy, I believe you have one more thing you would like to talk about.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm
gonna choke though.
You're gonna choke. Please don't. I kind of like you.
The tea went down the wrong way. Like we're at that part of the podcast where the tea was getting cold, so I had
to neck it.
Yeah, neck it. Yeah, I mean, I was playing Control most of last week, and I'm not going to talk about Control because I have a video coming up, and I have so many more notes than I thought I was going to have. Like, what I always say to you. What I always say, like I've done 2 of these videos this year, but like I always go into these videos with a specific thought in mind. Like when I did the Resident Evil 3 retrospective, it wasn't just me going, Resident Evil 3 is great. It was, why is everyone saying Resident Evil 3 sucked? Here's why it didn't. Like, with Bloodborne, I was tackling it from why does everyone talk about these games like they're the most difficult things you could possibly do in your entire life?
Yeah.
And with Control, I went in one direction thinking, okay, I'm going to do, this is what I want to talk about. This is why I want to talk about this game. And then I started playing it, and it's like, oh no, I remember this as well. And I did an essay like a year and a half ago about Control, which is like, that's still on point. Like I remember the subject of that, and then I went back and watched that, or listened to that essay again, and I was like, most of that's still relevant. So part of the video is already written because I'm just going to borrow from that essay. And then, you have the ideas for, oh, I could do a funny joke here, or, oh, I need to do a chapter about this, or, oh, I need to replay this entire other game.
Yeah.
For context. But the cool thing was to just, like, because I'm like 2 hours away from getting the platinum of this game on my PS5.
Sweet.
Like, I played it with the intention of getting the platinum because I remember how easy it would have been to do it on Xbox if I had done a couple of things as I was playing the main campaign, as opposed to like waiting until afterwards to look it up and go, oh, I could do this, and then being like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I already have the trophies that I didn't have achievements for on Xbox because I thought about what I was doing, as I was playing the game. But like, I don't know, like I just wanted to sort of, continue on with what we were talking about last week at the end of the podcast in terms of just like the games I've had the most satisfying experiences with in 2021 / December 2020 are Bloodborne, The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker, Hitman 3, Bravely Default 2, and Control. And they're the games where I've just taken my time, my sweet ass time, and experienced as much of the game as I want to experience. And I know I haven't done that with Control because I haven't finished it yet. Because it's just that's how we should all be playing games. And I hate this culture of FOMO that we have, where it's like we have to constantly jump into the next game to jump into the next game and then jump into the next game. And it's like, I loved Control when it came out. And I rushed it because that's what I did. That's what you do when you make content on YouTube. You play a game as fast as you possibly can. And just re-experiencing it, just and remembering all of the cool things that I loved about it. Doing the platinum, meaning that I was seeing all new things for it, and also because I didn't have the all the DLCs because it's the Ultimate Edition you got with PS Plus. So I now have all the DLCs and seeing new things from that and doing expeditions, which aren't great, but what are you gonna do? Playing it lag free, Moody. There's no lag in the game. There's no frame rate diffs.
Oh yeah, that was a big killer for me on the game. I
It's
was
as
like, oh my
smooth as
god,
butter.
I bet it is. Yeah,
And
maybe the game could have been delayed until when the consoles came out.
yeah, it was definitely a next gen game that they tried to make work on last gen consoles, but
Did a better job than Cyberpunk.
they did a pretty decent job because for the most part it was playable.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just like getting to like sit back and chill with the game and take time with the game and stuff. And it's like you start to question like your entire like philosophy and content schedule, like, and how you've approached YouTube like in general.
Yeah.
Because like I have had such a good time playing Control the past week. Um,
That's-
Compared to like most of the games I've played this year. And part of that is because Control it was my number 2 game of 2019, and like it's one of my favorite games of last generation, etc., etc. And part of it is definitely that because I'm playing a game that I personally find amazing. But part of it is also just the fact that there's no time limit on when I have to finish it because there's no time limit. Like there's an arbitrary self-imposed one because of how busy we're going to be for the next few weeks. But like, there's no time limit on when I got to finish it. I don't have to sit down and go, okay, tonight I'm gonna play this game because I need to do the thing. It's just, I think I'll just mess around in the oldest house and put a dollar in the jukebox and see what happens. Oh my fucking god! Why am I here? What the hell is this?
Am I in Everhood again?
This is brand new to me and content to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't know if there was a spin off to it talk about FOMO or playing old games because they're better than new games.
Well, a lot of people I think would say old games are better than new games, everything like that. But no, like what I said last week, I think what you're saying is spot on. Like we don't need to jump on the bandwagon just to have the conversation during when everyone else is having the conversation and everything like that. We don't need to do that. Even
My
though
my Mass Effect Andromeda retrospective proved that.
that is true, yeah, that is true, no doubt about that. But we we're all set for the next couple of weeks of what we're going to be playing, and they are games that are coming out. There's no doubt about, but they're games not that we want to be there to have the conversation for us, that we just generally just want to play them. These are games we're looking forward to play together and everything like that. We've got Take-Two, we've got Monster Hunter Rise, and we've got Outriders and everything. And now we're extremely excited to play those games and have fun with them, hopefully together and everything like that. But yeah, like I'm doing college right now, as everyone knows what for me and everything, and like I sometimes just can't play because I need to concentrate on the units I'm trying to get out and everything for my college work. And then like next week I won't be playing at all next week apart from after I've finished Game Jam. Thankfully, that's the day where me and Emmy are playing it takes two, so thankfully for that. But like I won't be on next week for the midweek podcast, like for all the Fridays podcast, should I say? Just because I'm going to be busy and everything, and like I don't feel like I have restraints to have to be there to play certain things, and like I don't rush it and whatnot. There are games that I'm going to like when they come out, I'm going to be like, I'm there for that. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, when that comes out, I'm installing it straight away, and I'm going to be like, hey mate, you're not streaming today. What? Well, thank God. Something like that she's going to say.
Deathloop is one for me. Like,
Yeah.
it's just I'm just jumping on to say like I understand the point. Like, yeah, it's like when Deathloop comes out, I'm in Deathloop. That's what I'll be playing.
Yeah. Like there's games that are coming up that we are excited for, and we're going to be there to talk about them. Yes, they're going to be around the same time when everyone else is talking about them, but it's not because we want to be around the time everyone's talking about them. But yeah, I like what we have. I think we've got a great balance of not having the worry to play something,
Yeah.
and I like that.
Like I said
If we
last week, I'll always have at least one new game to talk about.
Yeah, but
So
they're
we have
games
a
you are
podcast.
interested in.
Yeah,
That's the
obviously.
thing
Like
about it.
that's the great thing about having such a broad taste in games.
Yeah,
Like I can find a game. Most weeks I can find a game. And then most weeks I can find too many games. So then even when the week where I can't find a game, I could just look at the list of games that came out earlier in the year that I didn't get a chance to play and be like, cool, I'll just try one of these. Like
yeah.
Everhood. Like it came out at the beginning of March. Like and I saw Rebecca tweeting about it, and I looked at the screenshots and I looked at what she was saying, and I went, "This sounds like an Amy." Moody would say, "This sounds like an Amy game." And then I looked it up on Steam, and I went, maybe I'll put a pin in the Mundawn because that was what I was going to play this week. I'll put a pin in that because this sounds interesting. Like Mundawn also sounds interesting, but this I was curious. Like I was Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained. You got my attention.
I won't lie. Because of how you were explaining that game, I only thought of the scene of when he's had that tablet and it hasn't worked straight away, and then he's gone off the drive
Wolf
in
of Wall
Wolf of
Street.
Wall
Yeah.
Street, and then he starts talking and he goes.
No, I was the popular Django Unchained meme. You had my curiosity. Now you have my attention. And yeah, like that's how that felt. But yeah, I've come up with a new idea, right? Like I couldn't choose. There's so many games. If you watch the podcast on Friday, there's so many games coming out, and so many of them look and sound really interesting. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Like we've got It Takes Two. We're playing that at the end of the week. Monster Hunter we're playing the week after because we want to get a good run at it. And I just went, screw it. Twitter can decide. And then I was like, oh, you can only have 4 options in a poll on Twitter. So I had to narrow it down to 4 games. Like, which was still not easy. And yeah, like the poll's running for another 22 hours because I set the timer wrong, but it's over now. Like I'm ending it now because I'm just gonna say like next week I'll be playing Evil Inside and Genesis Noir maybe.
Yeah, it's the Twitter poll failed you.
The Twitter poll almost failed me. There
Yeah.
was a 3-way tie for second place at one point, but it's fine now. Evil Inside was the number one, and Genesis Noir was the number two.
Oh, that's good.
And I
At least
look
you
at
got
it and I'm like, oh man, not Paradise Lost and Toonche, they were the other two. But then I feel like
Now,
if those two had won, I
would
probably
have
would
been
have looked
some.
at it and gone, oh man, not Evil Inside and Genesis Noir.
I think you would have. Yeah, you would have, no doubt about that. But yeah, it's yeah, got some great games stuff coming up and everything like that. And like the great thing about it is that eventually throughout this year, sometime this year, there's gonna be a lull period, probably summer. August, July, August, the nice lull period. Say, oh, what came out earlier this year? Oh, Everhood. Maybe this is the trippiest game ever.
What have
And
you
at the end,
got me to play? Ah! I'm gonna remind you, I'm gonna text you and remind you, like, watch the footage back and just, you'll see what I was trying to describe. Um, but no, it's cool, like, and then, like, I can play Tunche or Paradise Lost or Tohu or Nosha or
yeah,
Harvest Moon, like, games that I've talked about and been interested in playing and missed because I was playing Everwood or I forgot all the other games I've played this year. Loop Hero or
Hitman
Hitman
3,
or
Great Big
Disjunction or Cyber Shadow or
Persona.
Nuts Destruction All Stars, which was I guess yeah.
And just think, in 2 weeks' time, we're probably going to review the new map on Among Us.
Oh god, yeah, that's a thing. But yeah, no, it's yeah, like I said last week, and I guess like because I feel like I cut the conversation off because I ran away to the toilet last week. So I was like, I had the podcast really quickly, so I wanted to make sure we didn't leave anything on the table in terms of the discussion, and I knew we'd have time because I only played one game. So I was like, we'll have time at the end of this podcast. But yeah, it's just like I've played 15 new games in 2021. Like, we'll see how many I play. Like, It's gonna be less. It's like that thing that goes around on Twitter where it's like, I want fewer games made by people who are paid more and working less, and I'm not kidding. And it's like, that's kind of like me. It's like, I'm gonna play fewer games, more, but play them more and work less hard, and I'm not kidding. And it's gonna make better content because it is. Shut up.
Yeah, you're gonna be enjoying it. You're not
Yeah.
gonna feel like you're forcing it, and that's what we don't
Like
want.
on top
We
of a
don't want to
podcast, like we do like this. Like I'm also gonna be like, and I know this control video is gonna spiral out of control like the Bloodborne video did. I can see it coming from the notes that I've written. I can see it. Like
You're
I'm
not
gonna
saying
need
this is another 90-minute long video, is it?
maybe. I think it might be longer than the Bloodborne video. Like I got Avril to record a voiceover line of a quote I used from an essay in the last video,
Yeah.
and there's going to be multiple parts of this control video because you know how many notes there are in control. It's like there's going to be multiple parts of this video where it would be helpful to have some of that read out loud. So I'm going to need like multiple voice line dialogue. I'm going to be like hitting people up and be like, "Hey, read this into a microphone and send it to me," etc. So look forward to that because I'll probably hit you up. Just read this into a microphone and send it to me. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Just do it on the podcast. We'll just do it on these. Say, Moody, yeah, just read this line.
Read
Okay.
this.
Woogly boogly woogly.
But everybody gave me a lot of good suggestions for retrospectives. To the point where eventually, when I prodded and everybody, to the point where I think that might just be my list. Like I'm gonna add a few things to it from me, and then use that as like the list that I work off for the next probably year and a half.
That's good, yeah.
Because like, so y'all like your long games.
Yeah, I picked a long one. Yeah.
Everybody picked a long one,
but it's my favorite franchise, so I kind of had to pick it.
You didn't pick Dino Crisis, and I will forever.
My favorite franchise is the Alien.
It's Alien, no. But you didn't pick Dino Crisis, and I'll be forever mystified by that decision.
Because you've already told me you're going to do it eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
So that's not
now.
I can wait for whatever birthday you want to drop it for me.
I'll drop it when they announce the Dino Crisis remake.
Okay, it's time to start picking on Capcom.
I'll make the Dino Crisis one. I'll put it on the list purely because it won't be a long video.
Time to spam Capcom.
Like, it'll be a good video to make in between like long ones because it'll only be a 20-30 minute long video. It's not a massive game. And
it is not.
Like, I wouldn't be attacking it from any particular position. Or if there's one aspect of it that I want to talk about, like RE3 and Bloodborne and Control, it would just be, I'm doing this because it's Moody's favorite game.
It's not my favorite game.
It's Moody's most requested remake.
Yeah, we'll say that. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
And here's why it sucks.
Game, then I was going to pick my favorite game that's even longer than Alien Isolation, and that's Final Fantasy IX. So,
someone already picked it. Yeah. The person after you literally picked Final Fantasy IX. So guess what, Mooney? Final Fantasy IX just made the list.
Sweet.
Like you said, you're like your long games. Like you're trying to kill me, I'm guessing. Like nobody could pick
the speed up buttons to get your level up fast on.
No, I can't. I've got to capture all the footage for the game, Mooney. I can't use the speed up button.
Just do the main story part.
That's not how That's not how the Force works. It used to be when I didn't used to put any effort in the edits, but now I use the video to actually highlight the things that I'm saying in the video.
That's how you should start this video. No, don't do what Moody suggested.
Like when I'm finished, and we're getting inside of baseball here, but fuck it. When I'm finished, every single time I'm finished the game, like for these retrospectives, like I have to jump back in to record specific things because I'll be making a point and I'll be like, oh, do I have footage of this? And bearing in mind, like I I record like these for these videos. I record literally everything. So you're talking a lot of footage to go through. And then sometimes it'll be, no, I don't have footage of this specific thing or this specific thing happening in this specific way. So I have to go back and get it for like 30 seconds of footage. Like, and I have to do that so many times. And then I have to find all the memes that I use. And yeah, it's a process. But yeah, it's just like, you talk about Final Fantasy 9. It's like I'm gonna need to fucking do as much. I need to. I'm gonna have to just Final Fantasy 9 on the monitor, walk through on here, because there ain't no fucking way I'm going through that game twice to capture anything I've missed.
So you intend to do everything?
I'm gonna. Yeah, that's the idea, right? It's not much of a
So
good.
you're gonna so you're gonna try and get the Excalibur 2.
Yeah.
I will pay to see that.
Luckily, I don't stream these things. No, Do you know what I'm really surprised about?
What?
Nobody joked on and asked me to do a video of Among Us, because we made that joke once about like, oh, you should do a video, you should do a retrospective of Among Us, and then we both sort of sat back and went, how would you do that? That'd be a really interesting video to try and make. And I was like, it would be. And if someone asked for it, I would have tried to do it. But it's like, no one asked, so I'm not going to. But it was like, I'm surprised no one did. Considering I posted the link to the tweet in the Among Us chat with like 15 people in it. And no one even jokingly said, ha, lol, you should do Among Us. It's too late now.
Oh no, it's too late now. It's never too late.
The list is, I'll send you it. I've combined, I think for every game recommendation I got, I added one game of my own. I'll send you the list. You can have a look and see what I'm working on for the next 2 years.
Amy is set for the next 2 years, ladies and gentlemen.
I think I might put the idea I had at the beginning of the year on the back burner for a while, which I didn't tell anyone about, which is why I don't tell anyone about these things before they happen, because then if I quietly cancel them or delay them, no one can be disappointed.
Cool.
But I might push it back until November, October. Like put the first part out before the thing comes out. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean.
I know
no one out there else should know what I mean. And then just
I know what you know that I know that you know what you
and then just do that every now and again for about a year.
Yeah.
Which you'll know, understand why. No one else will. That's gonna do it for episode 23 of the weekly review. Next week, we'll be talking about It Takes Two. I'll be talking about Evil Inside. I might be talking about Genesis Noir. I will not be talking about Bravely Default 2 because I'm giving it a break. That's at least 3 times the games. Full episode next week.
And I get to talk about a game, ladies and gentlemen. Yay!
Hope it doesn't end anything like the last, like A Way Out did. We might not be talking to each other.
Yeah, we'll just be like, I guess we have to talk about this, I guess, yeah. So.
If you look in that direction that you're looking now, and I look in this direction, just like,
yeah.
Why did you do that? What the fuck? What the fuck?
What the fuck? What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Why?
Why
Did you do that to me, Amy?
What did you do? Why? How dare you? And that's going to look pretty good, I think. That's definitely a good place to end. Let's get out of here. I've got control of Platinum. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you.
We hope you have a lovely, lovely week. I'll see you on Friday. Moody will not. He's going to be game jamming. And I've got to try and book someone to replace him. I'm thinking about a plant. Like a literal plant. And I'll just put some of those googly eyes and just stick them to the plant. And then I'll just be like, what do you think? What do you think, Plant Moody? Oh, yeah. I agree, Amy. You're very smart. Thank you, Plant Mooney. Oh,
I'm
let's
David
go.
Moody, and I approve of this message.
Let's get out of here.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.